do another easy. Do +1. You're given a large integer represented as an integer array digits. Okay, so we have an array of numbers where each digit is the ith digit of the integer. The digits are ordered from most significant to least significant, left to right order. The large integer does not contain leading zeros. Increment the large integer by 1 and return the resulting array of digits. Okay. So for this particular one, we could cheat a little bit. We could cheat in that we could just like convert the array of numbers to a number, add 1 to it, and convert it back to array numbers, but that seems incredibly slow. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to create another function. Actually, I'll just do it here. Basically, we're going to create this variable to tell us where we're going to add 1 to. And then we're going to add 1 to it. So we'll say digits at equals, we can just do plus plus, I guess. Probably. Put plus plus before, because we want the plus plus to happen, and then we store the result of plus plus in here. If result what are we doing? If result is 10, then digit sub at equals 0, and then we have to do plus 1 to digits at -1. Basically, we need to carry the 1 over. Finally, what do we return here even? Are we allowed to do it in place? We return digits. The other thing that we need to consider is what if we have 999? We need to add a new digit. So what I would want to do is if at is less than 0, then we're gonna have to say digits dot shift a 1. Else we'll do all this stuff. So basically, this is how eventually this has the potential to be called enough times to where we hit the very beginning of the number all the way to the left, and this at would be 0, -1 would be -1, and we don't want to use -1 for digits, so we need to add the 1 to this to the left side of the array. So if the at is less than 0, that's what we do. Otherwise, we just do the +1 normally. Let's just run it, see if it passes for some of the simple cases. Oh, it's unshift. I gotta remember that, so shift versus unshift, when you're trying to think, both of them do something to the array. They both do, I believe they both do something to the beginning of the array. And if you're trying to remember which one is which one adds, which one removes, is unshift add, is unshift remove, the way, and I didn't remember it in this instance, but the way we remember it is the number of letters in unshift is greater than the number of letters in shift. And so since, if you could just remember that would help you to remember that this is the one that adds, this is the one that removes. Okay, and then we did hit the 100% mark. Now, 0 milliseconds is pretty good. We're not going to do better than 0 milliseconds. Typically speaking, JavaScript doesn't like to call functions. So it's going to be better for JavaScript if we wrote a for loop that would work through each number and increment it by 1. I mean, we hit the 0 milliseconds, so we don't have to do that, but we could probably see somebody who did do that. But we use recursion to solve the problem. So if we click on this, maybe we'll see. Okay, this was something I considered doing. Taking the digits, turning it into a string, turning that into a big int, adding it with another big int, turning it back into a string, splitting that string, and parsing each item of the string as a number. This is, I would define this as cheating. This is not what an interviewer is looking for. Although in real life you probably would do it this way because it's easy, but it's not really showing your expertise with algorithms. You're just using existing APIs to do the work for you. The interviewer wants to see that you know potentially how to convert this number to an actual number, not using built-in functions. Like, they want to see you like multiply and add and push numbers and things along those lines, not use these built-in functions like this. So I would call this cheating. Look at this solution. They are also cheating, which is kind of sad because they don't have a fast solution either. I'm curious what they did so wrong, and I always think about, is console log so expensive that it's gonna make the difference between this and that? Or is parseInt faster than number? Maybe. Maybe a number is heavier. They do the same join, they do the same split. So surprised that it's 1 millisecond difference. Okay. So digit sub I. Oof. +1 is less than 10. Digit sub I +1. Return digits. Okay, so they seem to have done it in place and without recursion. I think that they could have been a little bit more clever with this. They probably could have incorporated this into here, this idea. Basically, the issue is actually, I think they literally could have. I don't even know if they needed this per se. They could have just did digits of I++ no matter what, and then this would have handled it from there on. Yeah, it seems like a lot of extra work. It's really hard to reason. Apparently it works, but basically they're like processing each 10 and like resetting things to 0. Stephen, J is less than is it less than L? J++. I think a lot of this is overkill. A lot of it's overkill. It's really hard to reason. You don't want to overcomplicate it. It's like it's to me it's actually better to do this than to do something really complicated, convoluted. All right, how about this? Okay, well they not only did they cheat, but they also did so much extra. Sum is sum plus digits of I. Why did they do the sum? They just randomly did sum when they didn't need to. So that's probably affecting their runtime. But otherwise, they did big int. I don't know, were they just like trying to submit and steal someone else's answer? And then this one, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Wow. So they assumed that two-stringing a number would add commas to it, which I don't think usually happens. So I don't think you need to do this clean idea. And they even logged it, so they should know that you shouldn't have to do this. But for whatever, oh my god. For whatever reason, they were like, okay, I'm gonna take, oh my, okay, never mind. Okay, I'm making a misunderstanding here. So an array, this is an array, that's very important. When you do string it, yeah, it's gonna be number, comma, number, comma, number, comma. So yes, they are removing those commas. They could have just, everyone else did this, they could have just joined on the empty string and then big inted it. Plus 1n. 1n is just like a shorthand for a big int. Putting an n at the end of your number is shorthand for a big int. Array from string number. Okay. So that would, yeah, convert this string into an array of characters and then run the number function for each item. I actually didn't know that there was a second argument for array.from, so I'm actually learning something new from one of the slower runtimes here. So that's good. Always good to learn.